Okay, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mangg. Welcome back to Hanging with Mangg. We're playing some more Luck Be a Landlord today. Not for any specific reason. I haven't played this since Wednesday. But I haven't really been playing much else. I haven't been playing much aside from board game stuff. I have been playing a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I forgot my controller downstairs, so screw it. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, so things are clipping along. Pretty much the whole house situation, things are practically just done, and we're just waiting for the 21st to close. I've been ordering furniture and other products, and we're getting everything sorted. Really, the only hang up is with the mortgage company. They have one hang up, and that's the fact that they still want some sort of, I mean, I don't know. They're not communicating a whole lot, but I haven't been like fully cleared yet, and that's because it seems that they just aren't sure what to do with me. As far as like needing a signed, dated document from YouTube, from Mr. YouTube himself, saying that I'm an active YouTuber. And it's just like, they're never gonna get that. You know, what they want doesn't exist. And I don't just fall into like one of their neat categories. So I don't know exactly what they're gonna end up doing. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna end up just being like, all right, it's fine. Because it's not like I can't afford the house, and they're trying to get something they're never gonna get. Some sort of like, again, it's just like, I don't know where they think that this money is coming from, and I'm sure they get it, that okay, yeah, he makes YouTube videos, but you know, it's just like, it's a business. They prefer having things just on paper that they can point to and be like, yep, look at this. This is how it all works. And it's just one of these just oddball fringe cases that seems to be just a holdup. So I don't know. I don't know what to really say about that. I've given them the very little things that I can give them, but yeah, at the end of the day, I'm never gonna have a signed, dated document from YouTube. I contacted YouTube support about it, and they're like, we don't do that thing here. We don't do that here. You know, it's just like, which is exactly what I expected them to say. Of course, they're not gonna sign some sort of document saying I'm an active YouTuber. That doesn't mean anything. What does that mean? Basically, the active YouTuber just means that I have a partnership with their partner program. Which I've sent over documents of like my essentially my pay stubs through Google. So they have those documents that can like confirm that these deposits in my bank account come from Google. That's the best they're gonna get. Surely I'm not the first YouTuber to need a mortgage. That's what my mortgage rep said when they told me to contact YouTube. They're like, well, I'm sure, you know, other YouTubers have tried to buy, you know, a home. If you just ask, you know, YouTube support, you know, maybe they can then point you in the right direction. And that's what I said to YouTube support. And they're like, well, maybe. I think they said something about like, your best bet is to like reach out to the YouTube community. And it's like, what the fuck does that mean? The YouTube community? What 3 billion people around the world that use YouTube? What is that? And this is really where it would have been beneficial for me to have a YouTube manager. Like a specific individual that helps me manage the channel at YouTube. And they offered me, I was invited to get a manager like 2 years ago. And I ignored the email entirely because I was like, what the fuck do I need that for? That was before I was demonetized. So I probably could reach out at some point and maybe get another invitation to the manager program, I'm sure, but I don't know. I still don't think they would hand over some signed document. So I don't know what to think. I mean, I'm sure it'll get resolved, but it's just like, oh boy. That was the funniest thing though, of asking like, who do I talk to if I don't get paid? It's like, well, I go on Twitter. I do at YouTube support. If I do it in all caps, that probably helps. And then I ask people to retweet and spam. And then, you know, hopefully within 24 hours, it all gets resolved. It's generally not what the mortgage company wants to hear if you don't get paid. Yeah, it's just weird situation. But I'm sure it'll all be fine. I doubt that I'm not going to get the loan because of this nonsense. So, yeah, other than that, just a matter of waiting and buying more furniture. Yeah, so this week on this channel, plenty of board game content. That's not slowing down. Like, at least for the next, like, 20 some days, you can expect pretty much 2 board game videos a day. I'm pretty much done recording stuff now at this point. I mean, there's like one other thing I'd like to record, but apparently the mod's a little busted, so I might have to wait. And I looked at a couple other things to maybe think about recording, but one of them was Bloodborne the board game, which I fully purchased all of it, and I didn't care for it when I played with my mom, but I was like, okay, maybe on TTS, I'll give it a try myself. So I ran through a game by myself, and I still was like, this seems fucking impossible. I just do not get this game, and I don't enjoy it, so fuck it. And that was pretty much that was it. Thanks, Durden. I'm sure it will be resolved. Like I said, I don't think they'll like, no, we don't want this guy's money. If he can't give us a signed letter, fuck him. I really don't think that'll be the case. Yeah, so I'm pretty much done recording board game related stuff. But I'm glad I went through this whole escapade. I ended up spending probably another like $1,000 thanks to discovering a bunch of cool board games. And I mean, that may sound ridiculous, except that I didn't buy pretty much like a single board game in the last 3 or 4 years or something like that. As I really just stepped away from the hobby. So I would have ended up, if I had been involved, I would have spent probably a lot more than that. Board game addiction. No, I'm certainly not addicted to board. I mean, for a little while, I was definitely addicted to buying board games back in like 2014 or so, 2014, 2015. Yeah, I was buying like a board game a week, pretty much. Sometimes more than that. That got pretty ridiculous. And I still haven't played like every game that I purchased back then. But no, I'm definitely not addicted now. It was just like this little period where I got to look back and check out all the new stuff that I missed out on and purchase a few of them. So yeah, I mean, you guys have to sort of get punished with my little foray again into the hobby. But there isn't that much that I'm that interested in Let's Playing anyways. The one thing... So I obviously have a lot of videos sitting around waiting to be uploaded. Of like my series playthroughs. But I also have been thinking about recording more series playthroughs, such as Fallout. I really would like to do the Fallout series at some point. And then for just like a single game that I don't know really anything about, I don't even know if I'd like, I don't even know anything really about the genre, but I'm kind of curious because it seems just like a board game put into a video game and just like expanded 100-fold into a game that couldn't exist as a board game, like physically. But it seems intriguing in that same vein. And that's Crusader Kings 3. I've heard of the Crusader Kings franchise or the series, but it always seemed so like daunting and just like absurdly difficult to get into. And the only reason I'm bringing up the third one is because a lot of people say that it's the easiest one to get into for like new players. The grand strategy genre, I guess. So I'm curious as to what people think, if I would be interested in it or not, if I would like it or not. Because it just like I said, it just seems like a board game, a digital board game that's just like, that does so many more things than you would ever really feasibly accomplish in a physical product. And it just sounds kind of interesting. So, depending on what people say about that, might be interesting to just make some videos on. yeah, so that's pretty much it. We didn't do, obviously, didn't do any sort of role Mangg thing on Monday. Ziggy was still gone, so the rest of us played some more Magic Realm on TTS. I continued to teach them some stuff. We got through a fair number of turns. I think we got through like 8 or 9 turns. And so I think they are having a better grasp of it, but it's still hard to say whether or not they like it. I think we might do it again tomorrow. It's possible we might just play it on Realm Speak instead of TTS, just the digital version, just to make things go a lot quicker and to really cement the rules now that they know the basics. But we'll see. Crusader Kings 3 is a lot simpler and less depth than Crusader Kings 2. I mean, less depth is usually not great for a sequel, but a lot simpler does sound appealing for someone that has never played any game in the genre. Yeah, that was that Wednesday. We played this game that you're looking at right now. And then yesterday with Two Brothers Play, we did Monster Hunter Rise. You know, we were debating about how long we wanted Monster Hunter Rise to go on for. Viewership was not exactly popping last night. And Lego's wife said that she would she'd listen to the stream, but she didn't really care like to watch, because it was basically just hunting monsters over and over again, which that is what Monster Hunter is. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but I can see how it gets maybe a little stale, and we were kind of running out of commentary of the game itself, whereas when you switch games more often, you tend to have a lot more to say. The company that makes it likes to add the depth with DLCs. Well, yeah. I assume the base game is interesting enough, otherwise people wouldn't even bother buying the DLCs. I'm not like set on trying it out or anything, but could be worth a look. Yeah, so other than that, board games are going to continue this week, and yeah, there's not going to be a roll manging or anything. I think for Wednesday, what was I thinking? I was either thinking of trying out that Returnal game on PS5 that all the people are talking about. I usually don't like roguelikes, though, or roguelites. I'm sorry. I like roguelikes. I don't like roguelites. And the price was a little hefty. Okay, OBS just disconnected. That's nice. So yeah, I'm not sure about Returnal or whatever, because it was just maybe a little iffy. There was a sort of I guess another board game-esque game that I was kind of interested in, called Trial of Fire, maybe? Trials of Fire, yeah. which is another rogue light, but in a genre of game that perhaps is more interesting to me, of a deck building tactical RPG, for only $20. Whereas Returnal, I might like Returnal. I should probably watch a little footage. I think Lobos Jr. uploaded a video I could check out. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not set one way or the other, so we'll see. Everyone's streaming Returnal lately on Twitch. Certainly looks impressive. It's just like, okay, it's a PS5 exclusive when there aren't many PS5 exclusives. So that's the only reason to really give it a look. Yeah, so that's, I don't know what we'll do for Two Brothers Play on Saturday. I had mentioned Darkest Dungeon, and I think that could be an interesting for at least like 1 or 2 weeks. We definitely want to do It Takes Two, but I didn't know if I wanted to start that before I move, because I'm not sure. We might miss a week due to me moving. And just being, you know, all over the place. So we'll see about that. Just been watching your Realm Reborn video in chunks. Great stuff. Well, thank you. Yeah, so speaking of that, over on the other channel, I put out a Realm Reborn. 7 parts combined into one. I did it really just to, like, because I figured that one big video is going to be more popular than 7 episodes. YouTube doesn't really like episodic content. As in, from my experience, they'll generally favor a compilation over the individual episodes. Because if you get a person stuck on one video that's 4 hours long, that's with 8 ads in it or something like that, that's a lot better and more reliable than giving them the first video and hoping that they stick through and watch the other 6. So that's why it worked for the Ouroboros cycle, and I'm hoping it'll work for A Realm Reborn. We'll see. I mean, I did see it was shared on the Final Fantasy XIV subreddit, which was pretty cool. I didn't go there to look. I just, you know, I'm subscribed to the subreddit, so it's just cool to see. Yeah, so I guess, you know, we'll see. It's not doing terribly for views so far, but yeah, we definitely, it needs outside exposure. So I'm glad to see that it was shared on that subreddit. And yeah, hopefully the YouTube algorithm does its job. We'll see. We'll give it a couple weeks or so, and we'll see how the views are looking. If it's still just not where I'd like it to be, then we'll abandon Final Fantasy for now, and I'm still planning to put out my two episodes on the story of Final Fantasy VI. But beyond that, I guess we'll go back to a poll and we'll see where we go from there. Yeah, I also released a video on neutralized SCPs, which definitely did very well for itself. I assume partly due to my clickbait thumbnail. And then I worked on a video for SCP-3844, which is a sad SCP about a dragon. And it's not that other sad SCP about dragon. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think next week I'm doing a video on Insect Hell, which is a fun little canon where insects just continue to multiply and cover the planet. And then there'll be like one other video, and then I think that's gonna be like the week that I'm moving, so I'm probably gonna release the what is it? The fucking Apotheosis compilation. 3 parts in one. Cause that's easy. Yeah, and that's pretty much where that's all at for that. That's it. Not much else to talk about, I guess. You know, like I always say, any episode in which I don't have an RPG session to talk about, it's usually pretty dry. And I don't know when we're going to be doing RPG sessions again in the future, to be perfectly honest. With Ziggy as our main DM, expecting his first kid in August, that's going to sort of take up a lot of his time. We might get another little campaign in there, but we'll see. The family RPG stuff sort of got ground to a halt due to board games taking precedence, and now that I've discovered this series of board games called Hexplore It, which I've really been into, you'll see some bunch of videos on that later. And now I've gotten my hands on some physical copies of it. That's really like RPG in a box kind of stuff going on that I am very excited to play with some people. So I don't know when I'll do RPG stuff in the future. So hanging with Mangg might be a little dry for a while. That's okay, I guess. Yeah. You know, there'll always still be a hang with Mangg just because I like to check in, do the updates, do a little chatting always, but it's all pretty much same old territory nowadays until I move. I'm sure when I move we'll have a fun hanging with Mangg, and I'll put out a house tour video after that, after a week or so, a couple weeks. But for now, I guess that's it. So thanks for tuning in. Check out SCP-3844 tomorrow over on the other channel. Plenty of board game related content on this channel. And variety stream on Wednesday, possibly Returnal. Once I watch some footage of it to see if it interests me or not. And Two Brothers Play on Saturday. Possibly Darkest Dungeon, possibly something else. But my name is Mangg. This has been Hanging with Mangg. I'll see you fine folks next week.